it doesn't necessarily apply only to players that can escape purgatory on being on certain teams, Teddy another example of that, but also their play on certain champions as well. As the Callisto going to be the first ban, and Lucian going to be the answer here as we get into champion select for game number 1. Jin Air on the blue side, Sandbox on the red.
And Jin Air opening this up with a Callista and a Yasuo ban as Sandbox now with a Lucian.
Yep, Jace going to hit the
Jace.
bench as well. Interesting that they ban it on the red side when Summit has been playing a hell of a lot of Jace, and I don't know whether Jin Air would necessarily rush to first pick that champion. We'll see what's going to be left open, though, because things like LeBlanc and Zoe are sneaking through the cracks, and I feel like letting Grace have Zoe is a big mistake. They've won one game, and it was based on Grace getting Zoe.
Right.
So maybe just don't let that happen, and your likelihood for success should theoretically go up 100%.
And Zoe is just such a fantastic champion right now. Definitely one of the premier champions that is deserving of a first pick. And right now we'll have to see if Sandbox actually elect to ban away the Zoe, or will they hit the Ezreal?
Yeah, Ezreal, Vladimir, Zoe, LeBlanc, there's still a lot of champions that are left available. Rek'Sai also is another one that either Caesar or Flink could jump towards.
On Fleek's probably very excited about that. Yet another physical damage jungler that can just try to smork immediately from level 2 and 3 without having to farm.
Yeah.
But Rek'Sai does have the upside of being able to actually farm, unlike Camille.
That is a very good point. Well, Tahm Kench is going to be the one that hits the bench, so we are going to have a Zoe available. And we'll see whether Jin Air actually want to lock that one in. So far, no thoughts just yet, as Root is going to take that priority as Ezreal is picked up.
So Ezreal is locked in right away, and that was one of the things that I was pondering about. And this is another thing about banning the Jace, especially because Jace is able to be flexed into bottom lane as an answer to the Ezreal, but he also just goes very well against Ezreal-based team compositions that normally end up taking place.
Well,
and Summit will lock in the Thresh for his team.
Yep, very comfortable lock in here for Joker, of course. Joker feels like a player that just wants to play Thresh, Galio, and Shen, and that's it. He doesn't want to play anything else. He has got games on things like the Gragas, the Rakan from earlier before he was nerfed, and a few Brahms thrown in there with the side of Tahm Kench.
Oh, man.
Oh, man, is Ghost going to do it? He's doing it. He's locking it in. The Draven to come in second pick here for Sandbox Gaming. And if you already show your 80 carry, that is certainly an opportunity to lock this one in. But it does mean Ezreal, Zoe, both going to Jin Air.
I guess Syndra or yep, there she is.
There's the answer.
Now, a lot of people think that LeBlanc is a counter to Zoe. And I think maybe once upon a time, a lot of people probably would agree, but lately, I know that a lot of pro players more and more are starting to just say, actually, it's really not. If you learn your bubble timings, it's very difficult for LeBlanc to actually do something. But there is an upside where if LeBlanc does get ahead, she's able to suffocate you really well. But in an even footing, Zoe's able to go tit for tat, and then Zoe will be more useful later on in the game in a much wider variety of scenarios. And so we're moving into the second ban phase here. Darius now being banned away.
Yeah. Up against Linderung, was certainly a favorite of Linderung's last season, but is actually something that Summit's played so far this season. I think, let me just check my notes momentarily to see whether there is one cheeky game. No, there isn't. Linderung hasn't played it yet. This season?
The Darius might be wanting to do is Summit might just want to lock in Jax. Well,
okay.
We'll end up
Yorick?
Yeah, we'll end up having... Yeah, Yorick is available.
Oh, no, Fiora's still up.
That's fine. It really is. Yorick's a good champion. He has a permanent jungler.
Aha.
The Maiden.
That's
so
true.
That is a thing that does exist. Olaf now being banned away as well.
Well, we saw the matchup, right? Where it was Noguri picked the Fiora into Tal's Yorick.
Yep.
And Tal's Yorick was smashing the Fiora up until the very end. You know, we needed to wait for multiple items to come through for the Fiora before she was able to win out on that matchup. Silas being considered here. 5 seconds to go. As Sandbox looking to make me solo cast this game.
There's there's literally no ultimates on the side of Jin Air right now.
Hey, Glacial Fissure
Oh,
scales pretty well, actually.
cool.
Shut up.
All right, well, you know what? I do have hope, though. I do hope that Summit will at least build Rod of Ages, Iceborne, Spirit Facade. At least that way, Silas is a champion.
That's true. That's
so Jin Air now have to lock in 2 champs, and what are they going to end up doing? Sandbox has a pure engage comp right now. I just want to point that out really quick. They have very short-range champions that have a reliance on engaging.
a lot of pick potential as well. So in theory, in like early game skirmishes, which is exactly what Sandbox have made themselves known for, they certainly have a lot of abilities there to get things done. As Yorick Mori
There
going
he
to
is.
be locked in pretty comfortably here for Jin Air. And now I want to see whether OnFleek's going to flex the Silas into the jungle. That's what I want to know. And then Summit picks the Fiora and tries to
Oh, there it is.
All right, well, Rek'Sai is available, so look, I actually don't mind that option as well.
You know,
10 seconds to go.
What truthfully, what I would have liked to have seen Jin Air do is because due to the short range of the Sandbox team composition and the reliance of smorking into you, and given the fact that they're red, I would have preferred to see Jin Air lock Rek'Sai Cassiopeia here at the very end, because the Cassiopeia ultimate and the Miasma work so well against the Sandbox team composition, and they don't have the easiest access to magic resist. I mean, I guess you can get a Banshee's Veil on LeBlanc, but it's not going to be the best buy, and it's not something that you want to itemize super quick early on.
No, you want to be building as much damage as possible to have that insta-kill potential. But Sandbox, like, their ability to snowball is out of control.
It's super insane right now. Yes. This Sandbox team composition, we're going to show it as soon as the graphics come up. I'll talk about what it is trying to do, right, as soon as the coaches walk off stage. That is an excellent looking bird, by the way. I just want to point that out. All right, here we go. So, for Jin Air Green Wings, Braum, Ezreal, Zoe, Jinzhao,
And
Yorick right there at the end. So, this team needs to just weather the storm. They need to survive the turbulence and land safely at 3 items. And if they can manage to do that, then Sandbox will really be grounded.
Oh, God, come on.
And so now Sandbox's team composition at this point, Silas, Lee Sin, LeBlanc, Draven, and Thresh, they need to get ahead. They cannot enter into the mid-game on even footing. They need gold advantages, they need Herald, they need good Drake RNG, ideally. Otherwise, it's going to be a really hard game for them.
Yeah, and we were talking about this in our previous series about, you know, why drafts are good and why they're bad, and having the need to be ahead early isn't necessarily a bad thing if you've got a clear win condition after that and a clear way of getting yourself those advantages. And Draven in a lane was one of your examples of exactly how to do that. So let's see whether they can in Game 1. Jin Air fans in full voice here today, desperately trying to find a win for their squad, as Summit has elected to go for the Grasp of the Undying into Linderung on the top side of the map, and Linderung also with the Grasp, not deciding to go for the Conqueror.
So
I guess New Conqueror is a little bit different on Yorick. What's your favorite for as far as New Conqueror is concerned? Because I know Old Conqueror was certainly where you went with the Yorick almost every single time.
I really do think that the Grasp is pretty good here because the enemy team doesn't have a lot of tanks that are present on their team composition. I think that he's going to be able to reliably proc it a lot against Silas.
Yeah, I get that.
In lane. And so while the Conqueror is really good, I think that Grasp is just going to be a little bit better due to how effective it can be early on and into a mid-transition. So
oh no.
That's first blood for Jin Air right there, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. 100% of the damage done this game has been from Jin Air.
Uh-oh.
Okay, this could be dangerous as OnFleek is starting on his red buff. This is going to be C's just wandering into the enemy jungle and stealing away a blue. Just great information gathered here from Jin Air to know that they can get this one done. He's going to keep on going as well. Wolfcamp should be taken and denied for C's on this Xin Zhao. But this is where things can really get worrisome for Jin Air, is whether or not Ghost and Joker can rule this lane.
And right now, On Fleek is going to transition immediately over to the blue of Seas. And then after this, we'll see if he ends up routing down to the Wolves. Doesn't look like he actually has that in mind. So I think he just wants to get the Scuttle Crit. No, you should not do the Gromp. And the reason that you don't do the Gromp is because you can't actually count on getting back in to that jungle. So you end up just giving the enemy jungler a rubber-banded Gromp camp. Doing Gromp off of these initial invades for junglers, it often ends up being a pretty bad thing. Yes, you get the gold, you get a little bit of XP, but the problem is that the rubber band camp just isn't worth handing over for free.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to be able to get back there and take that one. So you can deny the wolf camp, which is why LS recommends heading towards the wolves instead if you're going to be invading. In-game audio issue is going to be the confirmation here, and it's Grace's fault. On your screen right there, there's the culprit. If you've got anyone you want to blame for this particular pause, it is that man. See whether we can get that one shored up as quickly as possible. And the problem is solved. So what you got to do is just chuck a little bit of blame around, and then things go your way. Some Sandbox fans in the audience there.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really good to see these new LCK teams really finding some solid support here, as also being used to shield your faces. Come on, you got to learn that you need to shield your face, man. Oh, no, just
GG.
Bit of a failure there, as 4 seconds, and then we'll be back. Sepia mode is over, and Jin Air again. Gonna get first shove here, as level 2 was gained by them earlier on, as Grace is going to take a lot of damage here from Dove in the mid lane, and I sort of want to highlight this just a little bit, because this can be a pushing lane for the LeBlanc if you can play hyper-aggressively, right? Like, if you can avoid bubbles and just keep the Zoe's health bar low, then you're going to have an advantage. We'll see whether Grace can actually play up, because we know that his Zoe, of all of his champions, is certainly the most impressive. There's been one MVP that they've got so far this season, and it was Grace's Zoe. So you'd hope that he'd be able to navigate it.
Well, Atlas, one of the things I already forewarned you about is that Jin Air wins the series 2-0.
All right.
So try not to get too excited over little things happening.
All right.
I already know the results.
Well, I already know the result, because
right.
300 gold lead for Jin Air. How the heck are Sandbox supposed to come back?
How can you ever come back from that?
I don't know. I guess we could talk to Griffin. They could probably let us know. But right now, things looking pretty good for Jin Air. We'll tell you when it turns around.
Interestingly, On Fleek actually ended up clearing the entirety of the Wolf camp and the Gromp camp, so he's handing overseas not one, but 2 rubber-banded camps. What a gentleman.
Hey, unless he's going to, like, just make his way back in there and make the top side of the map his own, and deny it multiple times.
And then here's the other really great thing, is that his bottom lane, you can see they're both full HP and full mana, and the wave is actually pushing back into the Ezreal Braum as we speak, which means that when Lee Sin begins pathing down to the right-hand side of the map, he will encounter the predicament that is, my bottom lane's wave is in front of the enemy's turret. So,
yeah,
I do not believe that is synergistic for a game, as Xin Zhao will begin pathing now to his lovely rubber-banded camps. Thank you to Brother Lee Sin.
Yeah, well, he is going to get over there and notice that there's nothing here just yet. But don't worry, they're cooking in the oven, my friend, and things will be absolutely fine. As Summit, I believe, feels that it might be time for a bit of a gank on the top side of the map. Good top lane sense, but not actually going to be the truth, as Caesar's decided to set up shop here in the mid lane, and it's going to give away his position. So pings out onto where the Xin is, and that's going to be a teleport back from Summit as he grabs himself a couple of rings and some brown shoes.
And I just want to talk about really quickly, I mean, we take a look at, I do believe that C's left 1 small wolf remaining, and that has stunted the camp. And now look at what On Fleek's doing. He's running around completely aimless. Now, what would have happened if the Gromp was just simply level 1 and not a rubber-banded Gromp, and then the one wolf was left? On Fleek would just be sitting doing nothing. He would be doing the best Malrong cosplay of his life.
Yeah.
Whereas 2 rubber band camps now for Xin Zhao, as On Fleek goes for this Clown Drake here.
Mostly because he's got nothing else to do at this stage of the game, is Summit.
Can he do? I guess he can.
Yeah, I think he'll be alright.
Yeah, with Smite, he should be fine there.
Yeah, you can see he's got a bit of a yo-yo situation happening to his health bar, but I think with Safeguard and of course, his Smite available, he is able to take that one down. So Cloud Drake, 5 minutes and a half, and we're going to be in for quite a few Drakes if that's going to be the clip at which we're going to be killing them. First back did manage to get on Fleek some boots and a couple of sweet swords. But with Skirmisher Saber and Longsword, I feel like Xin is going to have a great time just farming things out here in the jungle. I find it very interesting that Seas has picked up the Malrung special. But I've heard tell that, you know, things with Malrung haven't been super great as far as communication and stuff like that is concerned. So we'll see whether the new player here for Jin Air is going to make things work, as that was a little bit sad. Linderung misses his Q. But the ghoulies really do help last hitting. They seem to be much smarter than a lot of other AIs.
Yeah.
When it comes to last hitting creep.
Like
you saw just then.
Voidlings?
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
Voidlings
those are the
so
worst.
ridiculous.
Those are...
Tormented Soil.
I don't even know what to say about that. Tormented Soil is another bad one.
That's really bad. Unless you're like mid lane Morgana. But if you're like support Morgana, like trying to get the farm under the turret while your 80 carries coming back, you're like, I just may as well not try.
You know what's really good is actually Tibbers.
Oh,
Tibbers
yeah.
tends to Haymaker.
That's because Tibbers does a hell of a lot of damage with his Burnie Coat, man.
Yeah.
The Tibbers Burnie Coat does so much work. You know, I was in a game the other day as Ghost takes a little bit of
You were playing Annie?
No, I was playing with an Annie
That's a
on my
mistake.
team, right?
Oh, so you won.
Yeah, I won. I won.
Right.
Things were absolutely fine. But I was Ashe, right? And I was like flashing to get his volley kill because my Annie dies. But you know how Tibbers gets super mad after Annie dies? I flashed in and Tibbers double kills the people that came to gank her. And she's dead. Like, gray screen, and her bear's just on a rampage, killing everyone. It was like Zombie Scion, but better. Oh, my goodness.
Pick Annie.
Yeah, Annie's pretty good. Pretty good, guys. Spirit 100% win rate on the Annie. In fact, Annie in the LCK 2019, 100% win rate.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. Absolutely magnificent. So, with all this being said, in returning to the main game, Julia has been summoned.
Julia, is that what we're calling her?
I just came up with that on the spot.
All right, okay.
Right.
Well, Julia is going to be making her way down the lane. One of my personal favorite Beatles songs was Julia, so I'm all about it.
All right.
There you go.
Good to know.
So he's going to steal away another blue buff as On Fleek makes his way back. The LeBlanc not going to be able to have that one. Top side of the map, not going to be respawning just yet. And C's, of course, started on the opposite side. And information is actually going to be given, of course, over to Sandbox about the fact that this is missing. So they should be able to beeline towards the enemy blue if they want to.
Oh.
Aha! So, we will be able to
Julian.
see... Yeah, Julia versus Julian. Okay.
It's quite interesting. I like how there's no distinction, actually, between them. I do find that a little bit bizarre.
Are you looking forward to the 45-minute pause, like what the maiden interaction caused over on the LPL stream?
I am so excited.
Let's go. That's what we're all about. As you're not going to be able to spawn any of the ghouls, nor do you have Morning Mist in order to get her to do more damage and things like that. She's a really weird ultimate to steal out of the way, but we'll see how it does work out here for Summit. It's going to create an extra body on the map, and that doesn't sound too bad.
So far, though, nothing really too exciting is happening, although another Clown Drake coming up in 1 minute and 20 seconds here. And that, I guess, is something that Sandbox would like to pick up. I mean, if you can get 2 of them by 10 minutes, that sounds fantastic, to be honest.
Well, Summit is actually going to Kingslayer his way back to a positive trade, as the Maiden's going to get attacked here by the Silas, who's struggling to do very much damage, as Morning Mist is avoided, and that's 50 gold, baby. Not bad. It's one of the worst feelings, is if you're against someone that can very easily take your Maiden down, you feel like you're spawning them 50 gold.
Right.
It's like free kleptomancy. Here you go.
Very, very sad indeed. And meanwhile, at 10 minutes here, the gold is relatively even. And the Draven is behind in CS, although he does have a little bit of a wave coming into him.
Yeah, he's just trying to stack up that Adoration. And Braum Ezreal is not a bad lane by any stretch, but I feel like Ghost should be taking a little bit more control down here. Back is going to get started, but cancelled here from OnFleek, and does have Dragon Rage available.
Oh, okay.
Just wanted to freeze frame that one, see whether the Paddle Star was going to hit.
And
I'm pretty sure
they know.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Is the chain going to land? The answer is no. It's onto a minion as Grace Portal jumps his way forward. OnFleek wants to find the kick flash. Doesn't quite get in range. And that is a health trade going in favor
This
of
is
Jin
a
Air.
really, really big win right now for Jin Air. As the Lee Sin shows himself, LeBlanc takes a lot of damage. And I do believe that this means that they can just pick up the Cloud Drake. Oh, they even stopped the recall of Joker.
Yeah, and they
Takes
take half
quite
the
a bit of
South bar
damage.
as well.
Yep.
You're exactly right. So that means that this Drake should be going in favor of Jin Air.
I think Joker is going to try to run to Lee Sin and give him the Lantern. Nope, decides it's not going to be the case as they turn the attention just simply to the Wolf Camp, but okay, never mind, nothing going to end up happening.
Yep, no whirling
Lots of
death to
cheers
attempt.
here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean,
How
any
can a plane lift
objective,
off without a cloud?
any objective is a good objective for Jin Air. Like I said, I had a bit of an analogy. I had a bit of a
Hit me
think
with it.
about, like, you know, how to talk about Jin Air.
Yes.
Because there hasn't been a team in this particular esport that has done quite this badly at this stage of the competition. So we need different ways to sort of commentate Jin Air, and I liken it largely to, you know, different developmental state for children as they're in primary school, things like that. You know, one of your kids might be extremely good at learning, and therefore, you know, you congratulate them on how well they construct a sentence, things like
Okay.
that. And then another kid might, you know, you might congratulate him on how well he spells the word cat, something like that. I feel like Jin Air are one of those teams where we need to congratulate them on winning a team fight, on getting a dragon, not necessarily on winning a series at this stage, you know? Or getting a good trade on the bottom side of the map.
Amazing.
Yeah, true shot barrage landing.
Look at that true shot barrage.
Yeah.
The damage is just magnificent. The way that he pressed the R key right there.
Am I right? So good. Oh, paddle star. Should have landed.
Should have landed indeed.
I'd pause it again, Grace. I would
I think
pause
we
it
need
again.
to look for a chrono break. I'm pretty sure there must have just been a bug there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad you're catching on. You're catching on. Well, blue buff is going to be stolen away here by Sandbox. They're thinking about going for this Rift Herald, but there is vision available here for Jin Air.
Jin Air gave the blue away. That was,
okay.
wasn't a steal, all right?
Uh-huh.
Slow down there.
All right, sorry. Well, I mean, they, of course, stole the enemy blue earlier, so they're like,
Correct.
we're going to keep this as a fair fight.
Right.
Because Sandbox don't stand a chance against the overwhelming force that is Jin Air with an advantage like that. As we might actually be telling the truth. As that's a really nice trouble bubble as Dove does land the chains, though. Q's going to land on, Fleet goes in, but there's a brilliant stopwatch to deny it. Summit moves on over. It's going to be First Blood going to the Zoe, but she immediately pays for it with her life. And now the Silas is in amongst it. You've got a really good flash to get out of everything that was offered forward. And Summit gets in range of the Kingslayer to keep him alive. Nova now trying to limp away. Lindrock's going to burn to death. And Sandbox answer back. These skirmishes are beautiful. As the True Shot Barrage once again is on point from Root, but it's just not enough to get the damage down. And looked good at the start, looked terrible at the end.
Unfortunately for Jin Air, the plates just fell as
calculated.
this really big Doom push was coming in. That looked, I mean, it would have almost gotten all the plates, except for one right at the end there. So Jin Air, what looked like was going to be a really good fight right there, ends up just
It's
going
also
completely disastrous.
Yeah, it's doubly as bad as well because the LeBlanc didn't die. She's now 1-0 and 2, and Ghost cashed in his Adoration stacks. You remember back to Teddy with his blue blades, really wanting to cash those in. Well, Ghost, he's able to cash them in at level 9, and this is going to be the beginning of the good times for Sandbox. As we have a look at it again, Grace landing this trouble bubble was really nice.
He lands the trouble bubble onto the Lee Sin. He takes the R over the wall, gets hit by the Q, and then the heal comes out. And then right here, you'll see that
the lack of vision was huge.
Yeah, lack of vision, and then Summit was already here. And during this whole thing, Ezreal has teleport, but doesn't use it to get to the fight. Ends up coming up naturally, and then because of that, Summit's cooldowns are back up. He's able to heal all the way back up because Silas is a nice champion, in that regard at least. And Sandbox turn what looked like was just going to be a really easy pickup for Jin Air.
Yeah, and Ghost is able to complete his Mercury Treads and get another BF sword off the back of those Adoration stacks being cashed in. His Bloodthirster was very recently purchased before that. So certainly a big influx of gold to the tune of about 2,000 after that team fight, and the Adoration stacks were claimed. So Ghost is now a huge deal. And the beauty of this patch as well, I mean, Draven did get a bit of a buff because he can go Bloodthirster into Infinity Edge, and it feels great. Infinity Edge on its own actually feels like an item now.
Right.
As opposed to before, when you needed to actually have crit before you were allowed to build it. So you can see that BF could, of course, be going towards a GA or something like that, but a lot of different options as Dove's playing really far up. Lands the chains as well onto Seas. We're not going to proc them. And Sandbox looking to grab even more here. They grab the first Drake, they're looking to grab Shelly as well, but it's 16.5 minutes, so Shelly's not going to be netting them too many plates or anything like that. So that gold lead of 2,000 shouldn't explode. It'll be map control that they're going to use Shelly for. Okay, well, Linderung pops the Maiden. They're going to have at least 3 members here, as Summit does have the availability of his. Onfleek wants to be able to lock down the smite, but it's going to be stolen! Maidens are going to be exchanged here, but that is beautiful. Coming out from Jin Air, and now Sandbox have to wait around to make sure that Shelly isn't collected by Jin Air.
And so Jin Air, they end up picking themselves up that denial, at least, of the Herald, which is very important at this moment because it did look like Sandbox was going to be able to get this Herald, probably going to be able to get the next Mountain Drake, and then that would end up being it, and it's about to expire.
Yep. Good night, sweet Shelly.
That is really sad.
Yeah. There we go. Hey, it's not as sad. Oh, okay, Whirling Death. Just we're just watching it pass off the edge. And
question
head
mark
back,
ping.
Yeah, it's an odd one.
That one hit.
Yeah.
Never doubted it. Jin Air always just better with those skill shots.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and Ghost, that's going to be damage that sticks as well because he has no lifesteal. Oh wait, hang on. Oh, whoops. Damn it. Sorry, Jin Air. Sorry, Jin Air. That was not what I should have brought up. Not what I should have brought up at all. Does clip the minion wave with it though, so it means that Jin Air are able to keep things at equilibrium here, bottom side.
Now Ghost just continuing to try to push in this bottom lane here. As meanwhile,
farming things out as well. I mean, it's all about Draven just being comfortable, and he is.
And Zoe, yeah, Hex Flash on Xin Zhao. Not entirely quite sure what that is all about. Draven,
that's
just
about
come over.
flashing after your flashes on cooldown, LS.
Oh, okay.
And what do you want to do when your flash is on cooldown? You
I
want to flash, man. The grass is always greener. So get a Hex Flash. Beautiful. Jin Air, give up the Mountain Drake strategically. Of course, as the hook is going to go wide onto Nova. And Dove narrowly avoids the sleepy trouble bubble. So he's making his way on over, and the Xin Zhao hasn't really found too much joy thus far. Able to get that first assist, but that is about it, and that was mostly Grace's work, as the Maiden could actually be thrown towards this turret, as that tower is taken down very easily. Sandbox get the first blood turret, and it feels like another day in the office for these guys. 3,000 gold is the approaching lead as they close in on the bottom lane. Onfleek, though, might actually be able to find Grace here. The kickback, the Q lands, and there is no escaping this one. That flash was honestly a bit silly.
Yeah, and Grace is not having the best of times right here. Summit taking a fight onto Linderung here.
Yeah, absconding his way forward. Yeah, to find something here, as I believe Kingslayer should be coming back off cooldown. Actually going for some little dive here, but gets himself the shield back, and now Dove and Onfleek, the Goon Squad, coming in to try and take down the Yorick, and where is he gonna go? Dark Procession is actually going to arm and saves his life for the moment, but they do get a flash.
And they're also gonna get the top tier 1 turret as well. Baron is up.
And also,
and you
look
have
what else
Maiden.
they're able to get. Rubber banded Gromp.
Yeah, they get rubber banded camps, the Scuttle Crab on the left-hand side. As weird as it sounds, I would love to have seen an attempted Baron sneak at this point in time. And the reason that I say that is because everyone would just assume Summit would, okay, it would have been spotted out, but Summit would have been assumed to have recalled, right? They would come over here, see that the Scuttle Crab is already taken,
yep,
and then maybe just not even bother checking the Baron pit. Because of that one Mountain Drake, the healing on Silas, and the Yorick ultimate. It could have just been so well. How do you die to this is Grace. I'm really pondering.
Oh, that's how you die.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, what happens is Sandbox walks up, presses all their buttons onto Grace's champion, Zoe. And
now they have to put their mouse cursor above Grace.
Yeah. That's the clincher. That's the real clincher. And then you have to keep your mouse cursor at the position after you press Dragon Rage Kick and press Q.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, it's pretty weird, but that seems to work as an interaction. Okay. And then you get the execute damage with the resonating strike, and she's just dead. At that point, all Grace can do is flash for the fun of it.
Oh. Alright.
Which is unfortunately what happened. 4,000 gold is now the lead. Infinity Edge is done here for Ghost. He's not in mid lane, he's still roaming about top side of the map as he clears out a minion wave. The rest of his team was there wanting to do so themselves, but he's Draven, it's all about him. And the ultimate is going to help clear things up just a little bit. Spilldraw to Cutlass in for Root. Hasn't actually gone for the second tier just yet. Let's see what this build is going to do. Maybe looking for Blade of the Ruin King first just to keep himself a little bit more combat ready.
And, yeah, that
what is this Maiden on Maiden
Julian's
action?
not... Yeah.
Alright,
well.
Julian doesn't seem like the strong one. Julia is well and truly.
Yeah.
Eclipsing him on damage potential.
And Sandbox... I mean, well, they're going to give up this bottom turret, but doesn't really matter. They're getting so much value elsewhere, and all that Sandbox has to do is wait.
Oh, that's actually going to land on Joker, though. Ultimate flies in, and Joker does eventually find his QSS button. He gets out of the way. It's a very early purchase on that one. And I feel like Joker is VOD reviewed very nicely as the bubble, like you say. Like you exclaim about, does go wide. But he's VOD reviewed very nicely because he knows that he just seems to soak skill shots like nobody's business. So he needs to get the QSS ASAP, get himself out of trouble.
Realistically, I mean, as long as he doesn't get hit by a Zoe bubble or a Braum ultimate of some sorts, that's all that he needs to get out of danger and then bring a teammate with him using his lantern, so...
Yeah, and I feel like you can then change up your playstyle as the Thresh as well. We talk about different styles of Thresh where you can be a Lantern bot or you can be an aggressor, and when your QSS is on cooldown, you be a Lantern bot. And when it's not, then you can be the aggressor. So I actually really do like the pick as well for a multitude of different reasons. Gives you a lot of flexibility. With this particular champion, Summit is largely surrounded, but knows that. As the Maiden is going to start draining his essence, his soul. The rest of Jin Air now looking to try and get some forward vision. Vision not exactly something that you necessarily want to be prioritizing here towards the bottom side, but Mountain Drake is going to mean that that's what they want to do. And Sandbox with a lot of control topside. You can see inner turret just going down in favor of Dove, and they have the vision available. On this Baron, just feels like Sandbox have everything that they want, and they're not playing overly aggressive. They're not biting off more than they can chew. They're just playing controlled League of Legends and want to close this one out.
And with the Mountain Drake alive, as long as they end up picking that up, it should be smooth sailing to get the Baron shortly thereafter.
Well, Nova, gonna... Okay, that was good with.
Draven can actually probably almost solo the Baron with 2 Mountain Drakes. It's probably at that point.
Grace is going to try and deny one of them here, as Onfleet does have the smite in this pit. But the Trouble Bubble goes wide. Now Jinner's going to have to invest a whole lot more if they want to steal this one away. The Dragon is going to go down, but can Jinner actually win this fight? Onfleet's just going to try and get out of there, does invest the flash, and they just walk away with the Drake, expending only the flash on their jungler.
So they end up picking up the second Mountain Drake. They have a 5k gold advantage, but it does look like Jin with the Zoe, they want to try to get this mid-tier 1 turret. Don't think that they are going to be able to, as Draven is quite a scary champion.
Yeah, he's got a couple of pretty cool items at this point in time. Wanted to get himself another kill. I feel like those adoration stacks will be stacking up at this point. He's going to go back home, though. What is the next item that he gets? QSS available for himself. Looks like a Zeal item will come in as item number 3. I do really like Rapid Fire Cannon, so you get those long-range axes.
I do think that this is probably the best itemization path that he can choose right now, as long as Zoe can't delete him for some reason. from a fight. You just make it that much more difficult. It just makes it so hard for Jin Air to find a proper angle or an opening that they can really do something with. I love this. They're controlling the vision. Thresh is going to be the one zoning. He can just summon the box and slow everyone down.
No, look at how far away the vision is for Linderung. He has to teleport so far away as Joker gets the... Okay, yeah, we do lock down the Baron here. Summit's actually the one that grabs it, but now Jin Air looking for the team fight. On Fleet going to be the first target. No flash, no chance, and he's going to be taken down. But you'll trade one for a Baron almost any day of the week, and the Maiden is also going to suffer. So Jin Air, they do get a kill, but unfortunately, nothing else.
I just got to ask you a quick question.
Oh yeah, what's that?
What day of the week would you not trade one for a Baron? You said almost any day.
That's a good point. I like to keep myself open. And I guess you trade one for Baron if everybody else is dead, and you can teleport to an open Nexus and win the game. Okay. You know?
All right.
I'd probably make that trade.
Well, it's not a... Okay, well, it's not the weekend in North America just yet, so tune into LCS tomorrow. All right? You want to do something like that. Yeah.
Oh, Summit. You can see, doesn't have his own Maiden. See what ultimate he decides to pick up here with the ultimate available, and he's going to go for the Xin Zhao. Okay, a lot of invulnerability options, just throws it out for the fun of it. He's level 16, so his ult is going to come up very, very quickly, as you can see. Almost back up now, as he's going to dash his way out. He's going to proc the extra damage from the bubble, but the Silas not too worried about it. He's going for Leandri's Torment as item number 3. He's got a couple of the items that you like building, but otherwise, he's strayed the path. And I like Leandri's because he does a lot of things.
Leandri's, the Madness passive is super underlooked, I think, actually, on a lot of champions. Something I've been talking a lot about on stream lately as well is that it's not just the burn passive that you're trying to utilize from the Leandri's. The item overall is really good if your kit has built-in slows and CC and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, okay, really nice stopwatch there, but OnFleek does get himself out of trouble. Slightly mistimed on the death sentence from Joker. On this slightly nerfed Thresh on this patch, so not going to be out of death sentence for another few seconds extra than what he would on 9.3. And now the fight is looking to break out, but the trouble bubbles aren't landing. It's going to be more important as 9.5 hits with the cooldown being increased, but this Baron buff is a bit of a problem for Jin Air as they need to invest everyone, and that provides Dove with all the opportunity to take down the inner turret on the bottom side of the map. Only one remains, and it's here in the mid lane.
And LeBlanc trying to push that bottom, but Yorick is down there. See how much damage Dove is able to actually dish out. Doesn't seem to be that much, and I think, for the most part, that Jin Air has actually repelled the initial Baron. Lee Sin made a quick pit stop.
Yep, 44
Had to go
seconds.
to Walmart really quick.
I think they've got at least another wave here in the mid lane to
they have
play
one
with the Baron. So we'll see whether they can make that one work as it's Dove that shoves up his minion wave on Fleek. Waiting on down here as we're going to steal away the Yorick ultimate yet again.
Oh, they're looking to just crack the turret here.
Yep. Throws up the Maiden, has a couple of duels there as well, and we are going to be able to crack it. True Shot Barrage flies forward. Now Dove lands all of his buttons onto Grace, who gets himself out of there with the cleanse, but now won't have that for the ensuing flight as OnFleek gets the kickback. It's onto the Braum though, but OnFleek goes into his stopwatch. C's now in trouble on the front line, has the ultimate stopwatch there as well. Inhibitor does go down though, and Sandbox not going to be stopping anytime soon. Root very high on his health bar, and Joker not going to be able to land the death sentence, so they break open the base, yes, but they're not able to push any further forward.
And interestingly enough, they break open the base, they get a kill, they get 2 kills, they lose 1, they lose the Lee Sin.
And Ghost got the kill too.
Right, but they didn't get the bottom inhibitor, and let's just take a look at this. You'll see that LeBlanc is moving up to join the fray. Didn't need to come up as soon as she did. Could have definitely stayed bottom to keep Yorick down there a little bit sooner because the inhibitor is guaranteed anyway in a straight up fight, but Sandbox looking a little bit over aggressive, potentially wanting to end the game immediately off of this. They end up trading kills, they get some chip damage onto the Nexus turrets, but that's not really the big picture, as now they're going to be stuck waiting for yet another Baron if they want to try to end this game. Yes, they have an 8,000 gold lead. They're about to lose the Scuttle Crab, and this will persist until Baron actually ends up spawning.
Actually great. honestly, for Jinair, although
Yeah.
Blast Cone could be an option for Sandbox to sneak into the back of the pit, and then that Baron will die extraordinarily quickly. You got another Zeal coming in for Ghost. He's just building up that crit now with his Bloodthirster and IE already done.
Oh.
Okay, C's wanting to come on down, utilize this smite to take away the red buff. I believe that was... Okay, yeah, he is able to lock that one in himself. Or in fact, Root stealing that one away. Very impressive stuff here, but a red buff will go over to the side of Ghost there as well. And Sandbox continue their onslaught, just waiting for that Baron to come up one more time. 50 seconds left on the clock before that one is available, and the split push is in. From Summit, maiden battle.
Who do you
Julia and Julian going up against one another.
Who do you think the maiden likes more, Silas or Yorick?
Yorick. I feel like there's
Yeah?
a certain like bias based on knowledge, you know, familiarity bias certainly there. So I think the
Trying to stay within the same species.
I don't know whether the maiden and Yorick are the same species.
You sure?
Well, I'm not actually sure.
Are you an expert in this field?
That's absolutely not. That's absolutely. I am absolutely not a expert in the field of whether maiden and Yorick's heritage are the same. Just know that Yorick's pretty good at graves and stuff. Like
Okay.
graves and digging and shovels. I wouldn't say that I know more than Yorick about shovels. Definitely. Do you know what the difference between a shovel and a spade is?
Oh, a shovel is square, right?
Oh, really?
Is it?
See, you even know more than me about shovels.
I actually don't know. I'm just guessing.
Oh, man. You should have just committed.
Alright,
Should have just
Should
committed.
have just committed.
If
No, but
anyone
then-
is an expert on shovels and spades, let us know. As Sandbox look to just push their advantage further forward. Root gets a lot of damage onto Ghost, though. He wants to be able to find some minions to auto-attack to get that health bar back.
Oh man, I feel a sandwich.
Yeah, this
Peanut
could be a
butter
big
jelly
problem. In
time.
goes Dub, wants to just get the obliteration, and Root, he's burning down, wants to get something done. He breaks a Banshee's Veil, but that's it, and all the damage has been eradicated. Nova, quick to follow. The double kill comes forward. Jinair thought they were in a good spot, but Sandbox had them right where they wanted them. Once again, Julian is going to come in, and I feel like this time around, Juliet, not a lot of options. As Linderong gets his teleport cancelled, and he's now got two members of Sandbox surrounding him, and the ace comes forward. Sandbox have dealt with Jinair 33 minutes in, and they will win game one.
They're breaking the script. You know what happens when this happens? The
Oh,
world
it's
just-
got to be a reverse
yeah,
sweep, though.
something's really just going wrong.
Yeah, no. But I mean, it's Jinair just making sure that we stay hungry for them to find that game win, and then they come back, they win game two, and we're like, oh, we're still not quite sure. And then they come back and they topple it in game number 3.
I really liked that at the end there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they just arbitrarily in mid lane with no vision on either side of them. I really
Did you like
liked
that
Yeah,
strategic
it
play?
did.
That was your favorite
That was
part?
my favorite.
I feel like you've actually gone over the edge. I feel like you have. You've the first series, if you guys weren't watching, LS struggled throughout a few of the draft phases, and things were looking a little bit dicey. And now he's come back, and you know how like there's a person where you're really worried that this next thing is going to tip them over the edge, and then they're all smiles, and then you're still even more worried. That's at the point I am with my co-caster at this stage. Just hoping you see it through, mate. We can make it to the next game.
Who do you think gets MVP here?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think maybe Dove. Maybe.
Okay.
I wouldn't necessarily give it to anyone
let's
else
go
unless
through-
Summit. Do you give it to the Maiden?
Yeah, actually, I think it's Summit.
Do you think?
I actually do think it's Summit. He helped set up a lot of the stuff that got the ball rolling.
Yeah.
He had good Silas engages. He built correctly.
That's true. Actually decided to forego the Rod of
The
Ages,
Rod of Ages, yeah, he
in
did do
favor
that.
of
He has
just
one gauntlet right away.
Yeah, and actually gets himself a little bit more control in the lane. I actually like that. Play Sheen against Sheen. Not too bad, not too bad. So, all right, we'll see whether it is going to be the Silas picking up the MVP. That would be a very strange turn of events because we haven't been a massive fan of Silas thus far, but Summit did make it look like a champion that you'd pick on purpose. And that is better than most of the other ones,
now,
and even topped damage for his team.
That is a Zeta mail, okay, on the Draven. That is not a Tyler 1 Draven.
Oh yeah, yeah.
that is 5.5k damage. That is, I think that's the lowest I've ever seen a Draven do. Ever.
Yeah, I think so too. And we know that Ghost is a notable Draven player, so this
Right.
isn't just him like
He's a Draven
just
enthusiast.
being bad
Yeah.
at Draven or anything like that. It was just not his game for doing damage,
No.
I guess. So we'll see who does get that MVP, but guys, we are going to be going to a relatively short break before we come back with Jin Air winning game number 2. Isn't that right?